Hey everyone, welcome to Opal Oracle if you are new, and welcome back to anyone who's been here before. Now, Pisces, hi. Okay, cool. I'm wearing this, I don't know if you can see it, but it says, I made it. It says I'm already against the next war. I'm already against the next war. So there's something about keeping the peace, okay? What you need and the advice. Okay, so you have additional cards in your need and in your advice. So at this time you may be seeking counsel about something. Some sort of source that knows some sort of source that is aware of something that you want to know more information about. This could be externally, this can also be internally. Heart, your soul, wow, your mind. Interesting, Pisces, wow. What you need, or no, this is what you want. Okay. What you need. Okay, so I forgot to mention in the advice, holy smokes. All right, this is a pretty cool reading actually. It's an interesting combination of things. Now, everyone received information to who came before them. Sagittarius was recorded before you. So either that is someone you're dealing with, someone in your life in general, also a part of you, whatever's in your 9th house, things like that. Sagittarius also rules new directions and goals in the higher mind, okay? So that may go back to what I was saying about wanting to learn, seeking counsel, right? They are the professor of sorts. So let's see here. Well, you have 3 major arcana, 4 with the chariot on the bottom of the deck. So the undercurrent is a lot of movement forward, okay? Which shows me that whatever energies that I want to gather more information before I make a statement. Something about that for you too. Gathering more information before you make a statement. And whatever seems sort of slow, I sense will be moving forward around the Cancer season, okay? Like, from July to August, actually. I sense also, this is small, but I did just hear that whatever that forward momentum is these next few months, you will have a little bit of conflict in September, but nothing, it's more of an internal process that you're dealing with versus something outside of you. You could be, there could be competition also during that time, but I see that you will succeed as long as you keep your energy like real light, okay? Not that you're faking the funk, not that you're doing whatever, you know, trying to be anything except who you are. But I see that part of, and this goes across the board for humanity, okay? This is why Uranus is here, to be like, hey, everybody, heal. You can do it, because you can. Now, I see what you need is to, your soul, it's pretty fascinating actually, your soul is the Justice card, so this is Libra. Libra's obviously important to this if it is in your soul position. she rules, this is the karmic, you know, the scales of justice, the karmic scales of life. I think your mind is able to comprehend the situation right now, to know that you have justice in your soul. Okay? Or in a way, I feel the need to mention this. So, there's a lot of tarot readers now, right? And from what my friend informed me, it has something to do with Pisces and Neptune. It has to do with you. Actually, partially to do with you. And supposedly, I need to do my own research. But this new friend I have, man, it's just fascinating how much I learn from her. She's such a beautiful person. There's actually been a lot of really beautiful people in my life lately, and I'm so grateful, including you, and thank you. But my friend was saying that last time a lot of these transits that are happening now with this whole tarot boom, right? They're not burning the witches anymore. It's a different time. Well, they actually had like seances at the White House. Okay? So, but that time obviously wasn't, it came and went, right? So, not that healing is a thing that comes and goes, well, that comes and goes too, but this can happen any old time. The way we achieve that goal, the way that we go to get there, is individual to each and every person, depending on their assignment given by God and whatever contract they signed when they were born, right? No one is right. No one is wrong. It's all about what you vibe with. And the thing is, you know, think about a person that's a sign that you don't like, right? That you have a really difficult time with, that maybe they've done things to you where you're like still upset about it, right? Sagittarius had this huge thing, and so did Virgo, and it's so important for you to watch Virgo as a side note. Everyone just really, I'm giving you a hint, and I don't like to repeat myself. So, Saturn coming in strong, okay? You gotta take notes. So, they hold the keys to the doors. Now, both Sagittarius and Virgo had this thing, and I guess you get it too. Okay, so your heart feels like this. In some way or another, your heart is ungrateful. In some way or another, your heart feels like enough is never enough in some sort of way. But you know why? Because in your want, you wanted two big-ass things. You always wanted something real big. Now, I'm saying, I'm just delivering the messages with the energy that's coming out. You want the Magician in the Six of Pentacles? Okay, cool. I mean, for some of you, the first thing I thought was you want a bigger bank account. That was literally the first thing that I saw, and that's not usually where my readings go. But again, I have to deliver the messages as they will. For in essence, this is my job. So, what are you still bummed out about that has to do with old friendships, old loves? What are you meh about where you don't think life is fucking awesome? For those of you who are blind, I'm holding up the Star card and the Two of Cups. Right, because you can see, right? Now, I also see that because what you need is this Three of Swords, Pisces. So, what you need to do a lot of people in red over on this left side, which actually would be, well, that's, yeah. You protect yourself a lot from exposing your heart. I like this too. This red and this green. Him with his little arms, bratty arms crossed. I don't wanna. Little inner child. I don't wanna. And then look at Justice. Not giving a fuck. Not giving two toots about... Not that she... I mean, technically, emotions can't play into this. But they still do. Libras have feelings. They have a whole bunch of feelings, actually. Because everybody has a moon. So... But you open yourself up, okay? But you have to expose your heart, and it has something to do with the mother. We've talked about this, though, right? And the only thing that the father really did was give money. He didn't really give, like, emotions, right? Maybe that's part of where your heart's problem is. Now, no diss. This is pretty normal. Can also be the way that you give to yourself, you know. So what I was saying about Virgo and Sagittarius is, okay, so these things happened in the past, right? Things like this happened in the past, and now, although you're not feeling it like that, right? It doesn't mean that these things aren't still subconsciously happening. You actually rule the unconscious, which is even more dangerous, because in the sense that the heart sends messages to the mind, triply so than the mind does to the heart. And since you're water, you're more emotion. If you feel yucky in here, if you feel despondent or meh or bleh, unappreciative for whatever reason, if you're unconsciously unappreciative, that's a really shitty place to be. It's something that needs to be assessed, because if not, these swords will never fall out and you will stay in this position. Your soul is not going to let you move ahead in the game to the step of ultimate enlightenment until these are gone, until these three swords are out of your heart. And maybe I see in your mind, mentally speaking, you got it clear. You got it figured out. And you feel victorious. And I sense that you've actually done a lot of work, considering, again, justice is in your soul. They also have Saturn in Cancer, so maybe something about, where's Saturn for you? I forget. Sorry, it's a lot of information. Sorry. 11th house, right. All your mediocre friends gone. Yeah, I saw that. Who can you count on? Who can you not? Who can you count on? Who can you not? I see that's also something that you want to solidify. I see that that's something that you want to expand. And I see that you have great ideas on how to do that. And I think, I sense mentally, I see that you already understand it clearly in your mind about what has happened, about all those friends you had to, you know what happened, you know what this sword is? Everyone says all the aces are blessings. Well, not really this one. I mean, it is, but it all depends on how we want to take it. This isn't a pretty feather across your face. It's a fucking huge ass sword. Look how big it is in comparison to this man. You got to cut things out so that you can have more. So you can have healthier relationships with people. Healthier, this is healthy relationships. Relationships where when you are involved with someone emotionally, whether it's your friends or your lover or your job or your soul contract, whatever you want to call it, they're equal, they're positive, they bring you enlightenment, okay? And if they do, and you know the difference, then you're not going to be worried about the harvest, which has to do with Virgo, that's autumn, regardless of where you are on this flat fixed plane. You know what I mean? Like what seeds you're sowing with people. The seeds that you're sowing with yourself. Do you believe in your harvest? Okay, Sagittarius also had this message. I really like this collective learning. It's important because we have a lot in common. And when, what's that guy's name? He's an astrologer. I think his name's Leonard. And he always says, back with your next astrological dissertation. I just love him so much. Very interesting character. He has a strong Uranus in his chart also. But the point is that he always specifies at the end of his readings that no, and I won't be able to, this isn't verbatim, but it's no one astrological sign or placement defines a person, okay? You're not just a fish. You're not necessarily just a hermit. You know, you're not just anything. You're all kinds of things, and that's what life is all kinds of things. Because we can try to, like I mentioned earlier with all these tarot readers, like, the ones who just focus on love like this, like seeking out your soulmate or your twin flame, but not even understanding what these words are, because they're new words, right? I mean, soulmate maybe is newer, but not as new as twin flame. But still, because we make these definitions, because they're so, then it makes it so like it'll never change. It has to be this way. But not everybody, we have to figure out our own bullshit before we can feel good about everything else. And when we try to take an external thing to cover up the messy thing, the yicky thing, the thing we don't want to look at, well then that's when the tower comes. That's when all that. And that's okay, because that's a learning lesson, and that's part of this. Now, this whole conversation, I sense that you already know this, okay? Yeah, you already know that. You already know that all day. I see that if you work on what I'm talking about, and also, well, let me stick to the point. If you work on what it is that you're stressed out about, okay, what it is that throws you off, that inner child that's pissy, right? The inner child, and I've always seen fire in your chart, always, Pisces. And I don't sense it as another person, I sense it as, again, your inner child that's not happy. Now, we all have that sometimes, but sometimes children are difficult, okay? So how do we deal with them? And I see that if you work on literally the emotional part, especially the heart, right? Because the mind, soul and mind seem to have everything in order, okay? Mind and soul in check. Heart, still a little bratty. It's like when your mother made you a beautiful big dinner, your grandmother or something, and then the kid was like, I don't like it. this is gross. And they didn't even try it. And they didn't appreciate how long it took and how much love was in it. Because they're young. And they're not experienced enough to know what it means to not have something. The awareness to understand. But you are an adult now. Even if you're 20-something, you're a young adult. So if you work on that, then I see that trouble that I was talking about, that whatever that was in September, that I said, if you ignore this process, to what it is that you know, there's the fire sign. You need to close out whatever this energy is. Look at them, they're like about to have a battle. But like, she doesn't care. She's so soft and exposed. She's like, I'm gonna fucking cut you. Now Pisces, if you need to protect yourself, fine, that's a different story, okay? Maybe some of you had to really protect yourself when you were young. Or you had experiences like that, okay? But now you know that's a traumatic response. It's fight or flight. But you have more choices than that. You also have, can we be centered? Let me take a minute. Let me take a breather. Okay? Because, like I said, if you work on this, then you won't be ignoring. You'll be able to see the trouble before it comes. Okay? You can get out of the way. And this also shows that you won't be going backwards, because your advice is the 16, the 17, here's the 16. Okay? The advice is, don't go backwards. I also see that Virgo will give you a message on how not to go backwards. Okay? Wow, what's that? Yeah. Scorpio is a very wonderful sign. Okay? I want everyone to... I'm not saying there's good and bad in everything. I think that goes without saying. I know that goes without saying. But the point is that Scorpio is a wonderful teacher. If you really want to know the truth of the matter, go ask a Scorpio. Whatever it is you want to know. I'm not saying they're going to give you the answer just because you want it. I want. No. It's going to come from a place of integrity, because they don't fool around with anything else. But you have to be prepared for what the truth of the matter is. Okay? And it might sting a little, right? But it'll put you in a position that's correct. Also see, for any of you, this is also, Scorpio's just, since this is their card, it's an expression of someone who is emotionally mature. That's how my grandpa used to say it, mature. Mature. Like manure, mature. But they can talk about how they feel, okay? Because I know you bubble things up. You think, well, I'm in the water. You know what it's like with Pisces and their feelings? And I hope you guys don't take this offensively. But it's kind of like, sometimes I feel like you don't feel like you need to assess your feelings. And it's sort of like, I saw a little kid, like, pooping in the corner of the pool because he didn't think any of the other fish or whatever were paying attention. He just let it out in that water. And now, granted, fish poop in the water, but that's an ocean. But you're a human. You don't stay in the ocean all the time. So it's like, think about that. Like, whatever you release negatively, because your body can only hold so much, right? Until it has to release. And sometimes what the release is invisible. It's energy. And it's, I heard, contagious. So it's kind of like, it's being aware of what's fair so that you can have better relationships. Look, I just split the deck to Cancer again. Maybe you have Cancer in your chart. This is also the mother, and it's childhood, and it's about privacy. They rule the belly. Stomach. Let's see, what about Cancer? You do want to move forward on some projects, I know. And I actually see you succeeding, but everyone's receiving this internal position, okay? And that's okay. That's where it starts. Libra does have a message for you. It would make sense. I think I mentioned this earlier. If you have Libra, since you have Libra in your soul, they also had these two exact cards, and I just pulled to clarify on your heart, right? I want to see you get up, open up yourself, give people hugs, be in a good space. I'm not saying you're going to be fucking a cheerleader all the time. I'm just saying that there's something that's not, something that feels lonely in there. And I tried to see what could help. And you receive this woman that's not looking at the water and doesn't want to decide and just thinking that it'll always be the same. And then you have a person that finally, obviously the only way for you to make this decision is to face the water. You have to face the ocean of you, I guess. And look, he's wearing red and green also. But he finally stood up, right? So I see that in the future you will stand up. Okay? But your soul is really suggesting to stand up. To stand up, to open up. Okay? Let's see, Pisces. The title of this chapter is called "We Control Nature for Societal Reasons." I love this book. In case no one has this, Finite and Infinite Games by James P. Carse. Mind-blowing. Chapter 84. I just thought of the book 1984. We'll see what happens. It says, such contradiction is the most obvious in the matter of machinery. We must use machines to increase our power and therefore our control over natural phenomena. By exerting themselves no more than is necessary to operate fingertip controls, a team of workers can cut 6-lane highways through mountains and dense forests or fill in wetlands to build shopping malls. While a machine greatly aids the operator in such task, it also disciplines its operator, as the machine might be considered the extended arms and legs of the worker. The worker might be considered an extension of the machine. All machines, and especially very complicated machines, require operators to place themselves in a provided location and to perform functions mechanically adapted to the functions of that machine. To use the machine for control is to be controlled by the machine. To operate a machine, one must operate like a machine. Using a machine to do what we cannot do, we must do what the machine does. I want to go back to this one. While a machine greatly aids the operator in such tasks, it also disciplines the operator. So say the machine is your mind or your heart, right? It's a thing that functions independently of you, but you can control it in a way, right? As the machine might be considered the extended arms and legs of the worker might be considered an extension of the machine, which goes back to energy, okay? All machines, and especially very complicated machines, require operators to place themselves in a provided location and to perform functions mechanically adapted to the functions of that machine. Because the thing is sometimes when we're doing something, and then like say everything's golden, right? Everything is like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck? It's okay, baby. What the fuck is going on? All this stuff comes up, right? Kind of out of nowhere, right, Sumi? Want to see the kids? Here. Come here. Come here, baby. Come here. Can't see her. Whoa. I don't know, Pisces. If something changes that fast, it's because it's unconscious. And I know it's hard to be like, how do you deal with your unconscious? Well, you heal you think and feel about your past differently. Even yesterday, there's no regret, no remorse. Okay, no sorrow, no confusion about the decisions that have been made, because you're not hiding your emotions. You're not pooping in the pool. It's a silly analogy. I don't know. I think for some reason, look at that. All right, I just randomly picked. Pisces, you don't have much to worry about. If you're watching this channel or other tarot readers that are helping you, that you know are helping you towards your highest good, then you're doing the right thing, babe. Okay, take it easy. It's Gemini season. They're a little double-minded, right? It's never like mental peace in a Gemini is extremely difficult. They have a big struggle with that, but they'll figure that out too. Uranus is going to help everyone, and so will God. Okay? Because what this card used to be called was faith in tarot. Okay? And that's what we have to keep, is faith. Okay? And keep that inner child, that sassy fucking 8, 9, 10, 8-year-old. I feel like it's an 8-year-old. It's an 8-year-old and it's like a 14-year-old. And they're real fucking pissy. There needs to be discipline with the inner child too. Just because we live in 2018 and no one's allowed to even like tell their kid to go sit down sternly or take away their cell phone or it's abuse. I'm just saying that like discipline is okay. It shows rules and regulation and structure so that when they have their Saturn return, even if it's your inner child and you 30 years from now, it's like it won't be such a fucking disaster. It'll be even better because you'll build those really strong structures in yourself. That backbone, that confidence. That's not in just a fucking surface where you can pick it off the wall. It's like, this is a fucking, hear that? It's brick. Love this house. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful for all of you. Thanks. Well, end of story. Take care. Oh, I forgot to mention one last thing. You're the last sign. So you'll probably enjoy being in your house during this time period, okay? And it's also a good time for you to go within the house and do some self-undoing. So again, when Cancer season comes, you'll be feeling, I sense that it'll be moving forward a lot easier, okay? Appreciation is a real easy one to get over. Don't let that inner child be in charge so much. You know more than it. It's your job to protect them, okay? To teach them.